Bobby Lashley is the current reigning United States Champion over on Monday Night Raw, and while Lashley has had a reasonable feud for his US title with Apollo Crews over the past couple of months, it appears as though Vince McMahon and WWE are planning for Lashley to embark on a much bigger and higher profile rivalry involving his United States Championship as we close out 2020, and fans had gotten a taste of this big rumored feud for Lashley on last week's episode of Monday Night Raw, which saw Bobby Lashley face off against Keith Lee. According to new behind-the-scenes rumors, Vince is planning for Keith Lee to begin feuding with Lashley and the rest of the Hurt Business for the United States Championship in December 2020, with McMahon reportedly thinking that this would be a great place for Keith Lee to start when it comes to championships in WWE, so that Keith can get some experience in the mid-card title scene before officially moving up to WWE title contention. Not to mention the fact that Vince feels a Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley rivalry is going to be great, with both superstars being true powerhouses. As of right now, one of our sources has mentioned that Vince is planning for Keith Lee to be the superstar to end Bobby Lashley's reign as a United States Champion, with Vince feeling that Keith overcoming not only Bobby Lashley, but the rest of the Hurt Business will help build momentum for Keith Lee as a babyface and get Lee off to a great start as the reigning US Champion, with WWE officials reportedly planning to feature the US Championship more than usual when Keith Lee is holding the gold, much like how they did with John Cena a couple of years back. Let us know your thoughts on WWE planning a big Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley feud in the near future, and what are your thoughts on Keith Lee reportedly winning the US Championship very soon from Bobby Lashley. There's no doubt that the women's divisions in WWE on both Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown are pretty thin or shallow right now, with most of the big-time female superstars out of action currently, including the likes of Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey, among others. While Monday Night Raw's women's division is certainly in need of some fresh challengers and worthy opponents for Asuka's Raw Women's title, if new rumors are true, Vince McMahon is putting forth most of his focus right now on SmackDown's women's division and finding a worthwhile challenger or opponent for Sasha Banks' SmackDown Women's Championship. After Sasha Banks finished up her rivalry with Bayley and is currently amidst a short-term filler storyline with SmackDown's mystery woman Carmella. However, in an effort to hopefully boost fan interest in the women's division on Friday Night SmackDown as we close out 2020, one source has mentioned that Vince is currently in the process of getting former Divas champion AJ Lee to make a huge return to WWE on the blue brand. For those of you unaware, unlike her husband CM Punk, who is still very much ambivalent about returning to WWE, AJ Lee on the other hand has been very open to the idea of making a big comeback in WWE if the right scenario or offer presented itself, and also if the time was right, and apparently Vince has offered AJ Lee a huge return deal that would see AJ Lee featured on Friday Night SmackDown, and immediately involved in a storyline with the current SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. We have been informed that Fox has told Vince McMahon that the women's division on SmackDown needs some big names to get fans interested again, and McMahon reportedly feels that AJ Lee would be a perfect way to instantly get fans to tune in to SmackDown's women's division once again. If AJ Lee has agreed to Vince McMahon's big contract offer for a return to WWE on SmackDown, which one source has noted is very likely, a new rumor has revealed that AJ Lee would be winning the SmackDown Women's title from Sasha Banks almost immediately following her return, to shake things up on SmackDown and drum up interest in the division again. For many fans, AJ Lee versus Sasha Banks is a dream feud or rivalry, and it appears as though things may be aligning for this match and feud to happen, and happen very soon at that, with one of our sources mentioning that if AJ Lee does indeed return, she would likely come back in late December 2020 on an episode of Friday Night SmackDown, or perhaps at the 2021 Royal Rumble if Vince wants AJ's return to seem like a bigger deal for fans. Let us know if you would be excited to see AJ Lee make her highly anticipated return to WWE on SmackDown, and then right away feud with Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. Do you think that AJ Lee's return to WWE would increase most fans' interest in the women's division on SmackDown? On this past week's episode of Friday Night SmackDown, the WWE unofficially found Roman Reigns' next big challenger for his Universal Championship, with that superstar being Kevin Owens, who had faced off against Jey Uso on the blue brand last Friday, sending a clear message to Roman Reigns that he is coming for that Universal title very soon. As of this video's release date, WWE are reportedly planning for Kevin Owens to challenge Roman Reigns to a match for the Universal Championship at the upcoming TLC 2020 pay-per-view event on December 20th. And by all means, most of Kevin Owens fans are truly happy that the prize fighter is finally getting involved in the main event title picture over on SmackDown after being mainly involved in mid-card storylines in WWE throughout much of 2020. Shockingly enough, there are some new leaked backstage rumors going around that Vince McMahon is currently considering the idea of having a shock title change occur at TLC 2020 to keep fans invested in WWE during this period of time that is generally considered to be a slow time before the road to WrestleMania begins around the Royal Rumble. And apparently Vince is considering having Kevin Owens win the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns at TLC 2020, with the rumor stating that Kevin Owens would win the title, with Jey Uso reportedly turning on Roman Reigns, with the underlying storyline here being that Jey Uso was getting tired of being bossed around by his tribal chief Roman Reigns, and felt he needed to put Reigns back in his place, with Kevin Owens capitalizing on Jey Uso's interference and winning the Universal Championship. Let us know if you'd be excited if Kevin Owens wins the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns at TLC 2020, or do you think that it's too soon for Roman to lose the championship, and that Reigns should retain the title? There had recently been some rumors going around that Charlotte Flair won't be returning to WWE anytime soon for various reasons. But as of today, new backstage rumors have revealed that this is wrong, and Charlotte Flair will reportedly be returning to WWE on Monday Night Raw very soon, potentially within the next 2 weeks if all things go according to plan. As of this moment, the current plan backstage WWE officials are planning is for Charlotte Flair to return very soon on Raw and challenge Asuka for the Raw Women's title at TLC 2020, in which Charlotte would reportedly win back the Raw Women's Championship from Asuka. While WWE have already planned Drew McIntyre's next WWE title defense at TLC 2020, if a new shocking backstage rumor proves to be true, Vince McMahon is planning for fan favorite and new Raw superstar Jeff Hardy to be Drew McIntyre's next major challenger for the WWE Championship in the coming months after TLC. And according to one of our sources, WWE are planning for Jeff Hardy to turn heel and transform into his Willow The Wisp persona and alter ego ahead of his big rumored feud with Drew McIntyre. And shockingly enough, there are rumors going around that Willow Jeff Hardy will be winning the WWE Championship from McIntyre early next year, with WWE then heading in the direction of building up a huge WWE title feud between Willow Jeff Hardy and The Fiend Bray Wyatt.